today's video, we're going to continue with our series on a budget dragon beginner deck just for the modern format. But before that, in the previous video, I asked you guys to type in the word Fungus Fiend and your users. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do this, and then we'll go Fiend, and then we're going to get our rewards. So there's 49 comments, and let's get our winner. Okay, Fungus Fiend, Jedi Sky Knight. I'm assuming the emoji is not part of your name, but if it was, that's pretty cool. But there you go, 1 pack Jedi Sky Knight. Just like normal, we're only going to do a modern deck, so we're going to ignore alpha, beta promos, and then some of the older reward cards. And we're going to just quickly show you, when you start this game, you get all the commons and rares for both Chaos Legion and Untamed. Unfortunately with Dragon, there's only one rare Untamed, which is a summoner, that you get given for free. The rest you've got to all buy or build yourself. So I think we're going to just start off by looking at all the other commons and rares, because with Dragon, most of it, or most of them, are epic cards or legendary cards. So it's a lot more expensive to build a dragon deck and buy some dragon cards. But the good thing with the dragon card is you buy the cards and then you can pick them with any other splinter. So dragon basically is this wonderful splinter where it's like a Swiss Army knife. You can start using a whole bunch of different unique cards to change the way that the older elements are used. But it's usually at the cost of additional mana. So dragon cards are normally way more, or 1 or 2 more mana, more expensive than their counterparts, but they're typically better and more versatile because you can use them with all the different splinters. So just to look at the different commons and rares, there's not too many commons and rares. There'll be a lot more epics and legendaries compared to the other splinters. But if you just look at the so there's 7. If you were to switch to death, there's what, 25, 30. Same thing with life, but that's because, whoop, what have I done? Why is it no results? Whoop, what have I do? There you go. So the main reason that is because when you play your dragon, you get to use all of the other splinters cards as well. So these are just additional cherries on top. So of these cards, the Serpentine of the Mystique we can't use. It's a great card. And then Naga Assassin's pretty good because it's got really good speed. Twilight Basilisk, there's better reach cards in my opinion. The Gordak Soldier, I really like him, but mainly only in equalizer games, and you also want to get 2 damage. But he's got fly and he's got shield. He doesn't have a lot of HP and he's got a tiny amount of armor, so he's not a really good position 1. So I haven't seen him being played a lot, but his art is fantastic. And if they increased his HP, if they increased his damage, he'd be a really good equalizer card. So I think out of all these cards, the only one I would recommend is a Brighton Bloom. And the main reason you get a Brighton Bloom is just because in Earthquake games, she is an absolute star for $10. It's an additional summoner, but any Earthquake games, you'll pick her and then you never have to worry about Earthquake games again. And it's actually, pick him, but it's actually that simple. Like, my Brighton Bloom has like a 90% win rate because it's super easy to win Earthquake games when you don't have to worry about them. So now looking at the epics. So the epics, there's a lot more of them. Unfortunately, half of them we're not even going to look at. So the Manticore, the Fire Splitter, and Daria Dragonscale, we don't have to worry about. Because of the borders, we know that these are only going to be used in Wild. So Crench is a unique card in the sense that he's the only summoner that doesn't have a summoner's ability, except for the 2 mana cost, actually, I lie. So Crench is a bad version of the 2 mana cost summoners, which are the beta summoners. Oops, never mind. I'll show you guys later. So he costs 3 mana compared to all the untamed summoners that cost 3 mana and have abilities, but he's a lot cheaper than them. So a lot of people have argued that he's a good card to buy to use as a leveled up summoner, but personally I don't like that idea. Dragon Spirit, not bad, but there are better 2 mana cost position 2 shields, but this has got flying and speed, so people can argue that there's a time and a place for it. I personally don't, I never use it, but I can imagine some people would. The Jin Chwala, I think there's an argument for her or him. I'm gonna go with her. Those look like breasts. So with the Jin Chwala, really good card. It's got thorns, especially if you're in bronze. Good HP, good armor, bad speed, bad attack damage, but that's okay. I mean, later on, if you can, getting a level 2 is really important, because you can then get 3 damage, and then it's really like a star card. But just picking up 1 so that you've got a really big beefy tank that has thorns, really good when you play only melee, or an even better time would be if it's Earthquake only melee, and then you've got your Brighton Bloom and your Jinjwala as your frontline tank. And I think we're already done with the epics, which is pretty crazy. So the good news is, if you look at the legendary cards, there are so many legendaries for Dragon. There are, what, 18? If you were to look at Death, there are 10, sorry. So, a lot more legendary cards, and that's just because of how, like, Dragon's been built. So, of the old cards that we don't need to look at, it's the Black Dragon. Black Dragon is pretty much it. The rest are all playable and all in modern. Obviously I have hidden beta and promo cards. So it's really difficult to just jump in. So first card is a Quinks, like really good card for what it gives you. The minus speed, minus archer is really strong, probably the strongest Chaos Legion summoner by far. Yeah, there's not, like, I think he or she is really good. At $29 US, it's a great card, but I don't want to spend all of our budget on just a Quinks, unfortunately. Like a Camille Sunglazer is now $50 US, so it's nearly double the price, but I think Quinks is much better because it gives minus speed, minus archer damage, where this just gives minus melee damage. Obviously this is a great card, but it's very expensive, which is the Byzantine Kitty. You get the +2 speed, true strike, and frontline heal, which is great. Like, a lot of these cards I really like, but the main issue is that we just don't have the budget. So I think I'm gonna have to extend the budget for this video to like $40 to $50, just because, unless you just, I don't want to be like, ooh, because of budget we have to buy the cheapest legendaries. So let's break it down. In terms of frontline tanks, I think the Chwala is good enough. You don't need something like a Robo Dragon Knight. And even then, a Robo Dragon Knight for 11 mana, it's probably not. Oh, this guy needs to go away. You get Void and Divine Shield. You've got lots of HP and lots of armor and decent damage. But it still feels a little bit underwhelming for 11 mana. Especially now that they've invented that cleave. So any monster that's above 10 mana will take double damage. So that'll make him a lot more vulnerable. So I think we're happy with our Chwala. Desert Dragon, same thing. It's a cool card, but it doesn't have any defensive properties. It's got lots of HP, it's got no HP, very little armor, very high damage, and it's got trample. So in that sense, it's really good. It reminds me a lot of a Frost Giant. So it could actually be a better version of a Frost Giant. But I still prefer other cards. But I can see, yeah, I mean, I can see some cases where it's good, like maybe reverse speed and you've got this trample. That's really cool. A lot of these legendary cards need level 2, such as Chaos Dragon, because if Chaos Dragon gets level 2, you suddenly can get Blast, which is really important, obviously. I like Dragon Jumper because he's got high speed, high damage, opportunity, but I can't recommend you guys to spend $93 on one card. I would rather say buy all the fire cards I recommended, all the water cards I recommended, plus all the earth cards I recommended. So this Magus, not bad, but try and get it a little higher level so it gets extra damage, but typically Blast level 1 with 1 magic damage. It's okay, but it's not the best. Of these cards, I would have to say that the most important would be like a Quinx, just to have a better Dragon Summoner. He's really good and he'll bring you a lot of wins. I'm gonna avoid the Vul. I think, yeah, I don't like it. I think it's like flying. I hate recharge. Like recharge doesn't do it for me, and you need level 2 to get the close range as well, so it just makes him a little bit bad. The Desert Dragon, there is a world where he'll be good, but I'm not going to pick him up. I will pick up a Void Dragon because this is a really good position too, in the sense that it's got decent, for 5 mana, it's got good HP, it's got really good speed, and it's got 1 magic damage, not the best, but the Void is already good enough. And this is like a better version than a Guardian, which would also be a position 2 with Reach. So really good Void Dragon. I know that there's a new Reach Dragon monster coming in, which might even be better. Chaos Dragon. We're gonna buy it, but the reality, yeah, okay, we can buy it from bulky. So we'll buy it, but the reality is that you'd probably want to try and push it to level 2 later on in the future. But for any 99 mana games that you guys are in, you place this card and you guys are gonna have a really good time. It'll be in your backline, dealing 3 magic damage and having a huge amount of HP. So it will serve you really well. So our total budget right now is $55 US. It's just the way it is. If you want to save some money, you can take out the Quinx and it's only back down to 26. I recommend a Quinx, and I think it's at a decent price right now. It could still go cheaper, it could go higher. Well, it'll go higher once Chaos Legion sells out, but right now it could go a little bit lower, but 28 bucks doesn't seem too bad to me. So for that reason, we add it in. But yeah, that's how I would spend $55 US to buy my dragon cards, and this basically would sort me out for position 1s, position 2s, 99 mana games, a really good summoner that's better than the standard Drake of Anarch, and then a Brighton Bloom just for Earthquake games. Catch you guys in the next video, guys. Cheers.
So please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. And if you're a new player, please use the promo code and I will happily send you the $0.5 US back to you. It just lets me know that people are watching and using the promo, and I'm helping new players join the community. Also, if you find me on the Discord, just pop me a message. I'll happily delegate any of the new players some power